Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. Book Reviews. Book Reviews. Book Reviews. I don't know why I added in the extra. Hi, my name is Candace. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I really appreciate it. In today's video, as you can see, I'm back on my red-ish. How long it will last, we don't know. A week. Next time I wash my hair, gone. In today's video, kids, we're gonna be reviewing. This book damaged me, bro. It hurt me. We're gonna be reviewing this book. We're going to be reviewing this book. And this is Give Me More by Sara Cate. This is book 3. 3? Yes. This is book 3 in her Salacious Players Club series. Now, we have several things to talk about. First, let's do the details for the book and read the blurb. And then we're gonna talk about it because she fucked me up. She fucked me up with this, okay? This book and all the books in this series are free to read with KU, okay? If you have Kindle Unlimited, free. There are currently 4 books out in this series right now. This is book 3. There is another one after this called Mercy, and it is already out, so go. Don't read them out of order though. If you want to read the series, start with the book Praise. I reviewed it many videos back. Go find it. Start with that one because don't start here or at the next. Don't. It will make me very upset. It will make me very upset. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can get it for the price of $4.99. which I feel like is pretty standard for Kindle books. If you want this trade paperback that I'm currently holding in my hands right now, you can get it for the price of $14.94. It's an odd number. Who sets these prices? Sarah, did you do that? Why did you go with $14.94 instead of $14.99? Curious minds want to know. Anyway, this book is also available in audio. I listened to the audio. It's very good. The voice of Hunter is played by like a I can't remember if it's Sebastian York, a very well-known audiobook narrator. The guy who voiced Drake, not so well known as far as I know, or not well known to me, I'll say. And his voice was, oh my God. I couldn't wait for his chapters to come. Pause. I couldn't wait for his chapters to come up because I was literally like, talk to me, boy. Talk dirty to me, boy. I couldn't, I wanted it so bad. The female narrator was fine. Her voice is kind of high-pitched and whiny, but not like ridiculously so. You know what I mean? Like not off-puttingly so. I got used to it. It was fine. Now, the number of pages. Every video we do it. According to Amazon, this book has 356 pages. According to Candace, this book has 341 pages. Every video I'm going to do it. Every video. You know this. Let's read the blurb and then we will jump straight into it because I have some thoughts. Okay. So it says, I'm a scoundrel, playboy, man whore. Basically, I get around and I'm not afraid to admit it. So when my best friend opens up Salacious Players Club and asks me to head the construction, how could I say no? Now we're on a cross-country road trip touring other kink clubs, and I couldn't be happier. Life is good. Then Hunter suddenly asks me to sleep with his wife while he watches. I'll do anything for my best friend, but this is the one request I should say no to. Isabel is the woman of my dreams, but she's his, and the exact reason I should say no is the one reason I say yes. Because it's not only Isabel I want. These are the two most important people in my life, and if we go down this path, how will I ever be able to walk away? I'm not sure my best friend understands how much I'm willing to do for him, and why. Okay. I gotta gear up. All right, so, as you can tell, there are 3 main characters to this book. There is Isabel, Hunter, and Drake. That entire POV is obviously from Drake's POV. He's the construction worker, or not a construction worker. He's kind of more like an architect, to be honest. He's the owner of the construction company that built Salacious Players Club, the kink club that Hunter and his 3 friends own. Okay. Now, before I get into what this book is all about, like in terms of the plot, I want to just state, I don't read reverse harems. They're just not for me. I just can't. My pre-programmed monogamous brain can't wrap my head around the idea of like 5 people just riding off into the sunset together. The sex is fine. I'm down for the sex. Like 5 people fucking together, that's great, fine, do it. Awesome, love that. But the idea of 5 people, 6 people, 7 people, however many people, being so equally emotionally invested in each other that it sustains a long-term relationship. My brain can't process that. And for that reason, I find reverse harems very hard to get behind. Pause. Such a child. I just can't. I find that a lot of reverse harems or throuple books or whatever are just not done very well. At least in my experience. The few that I have read. I'll say that. Because I don't have much experience because I just don't go out of my way to read those books because it's not my thing. Okay? So maybe you're sitting back going, Candace, well, maybe if you read 400 of them, your opinion would change. True, maybe it would. But then maybe I would have read 400 shitty books. I don't know. Okay? So that's my stance. So when I heard that this book was going to have 3 main characters and it was going to be like a reverse harem / love triangle / whatever situation, I was sus. I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to like this one. I don't know if I'll enjoy this one. Obviously, I'm going to buy it because I've bought all the other ones in the series and I need it from my shelf. I can't have an incomplete series on my shelf. So I bought it. Now, I started the book and I want to say reading the first 2 books, keep in mind, praise was very good. I liked it. Garrett's book 2, Eyes on Me, oh my God, I fucking adored that book. I loved it. Clearly my favorite. Going out of that book into this book, I had it in my mind the way that this book would go would be that Drake and or Hunter was in love with their best friend, secretly in love with their best friend. And Isabel, the wife, was in the way or had to somehow be worked into the situation. When I started this book and it started getting into the plot line, it got up to a certain point where it started to seem as if there was going to be a very much more overused plot line of Drake had secretly always had a thing for his best friend's wife. And now he has the excuse to be able to have sex with her. And when I got to that, I was very upset. I messaged several people on Instagram, slightly raging and going, it's ruined for me. Because I built up this book in my mind thinking that it was going to go this way. And it hasn't. It's going this way. And I don't want it to go this way. I want it to go that way. And the few people I talked to that had already read the book were going, oh my God, can I tell you what's going to happen? And I was going, no, I don't want spoilers. And they were going, fuck. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but it's not what you expect. So I was mad for a hot minute. And then it fixed itself. So Sarah, you almost got me. But then you saved yourself. And somehow this ended up being my favorite book of the series. So far. Ended up. Anyway, let's get into the details, shall we? Let's get into the plot. All right. So, as you can clearly see from the blurb, Hunter has been asked by his partners at the club to go on a little road trip around the United States, visit some other kink clubs, and basically suss out some other talent. They want to look for fresh ideas for Salacious in terms of classes, demonstrations, shows that can be put on, fresh ideas for performances and things like that. Now, Drake is going along with, Isabel's going along because that's his wife. And she goes everywhere he goes. But Drake is going along not only because he is head of construction at Salacious, and if there is something an idea that presents itself, he could say, yeah, we could build a stage for that. Or yeah, we could accommodate that. I could do something with that. Like, he's going for that purpose. But he's also going because Drake has been the third wheel of Hunter and Isabel's relationship, their entire relationship. Hunter and Drake grew up together. They have been best friends literally forever. They both come from the wrong side of the tracks. They grew up dirt poor from troubled childhoods. Hunter's father was a massive homophobe and bigot. Terrible, terrible guy. Drake's mother was what you would call a loose woman. She got around. And Drake seems to have inherited that gene because he sleeps around a lot. And he has no intention of settling down. He doesn't look, you would think he doesn't want to settle down with anyone. He doesn't give off that vibe that he wants to settle down with anyone. He just doesn't, he doesn't date. He just sleeps around. Now, when Hunter met Isabel, Drake actually met her first. Drake had the intention of asking her out first. Hunter interrupted and caught her attention. And Drake got friend-zoned. Drake's not bitter about it. He's never been bitter about it. That's his best friend. Drake has always seen the dynamic of him being less than and Hunter being the one that the good boy, the one that made something of himself, the one that got out and did something with his life, the one that's worth something, which he did. He did make something of himself. When he met Isabel, he literally changed everything about himself to be good enough for her, because she was from an upper middle class family. Her parents had money, and he wanted to play that part for her. He needed to be good enough for her. Okay. So Drake got friend-zoned, and ever since then, their dynamic has been, Drake has been Isabel's bestie and always been Hunter's best friend. And so they've included him on everything that they do. You know, he literally goes on like their anniversary dinners with them. Like he does everything with them. So naturally, when they were asked to go tour these other clubs, he tagged along. While they're out doing this and staying in hotel rooms, which a lot of the hotel rooms they stay in, they have to like do the one bed situation, and then there's a lot of those tropes in here too. While they're out touring these clubs, Drake gets a call from his landlord that he's being evicted. And he has like 30 days to find a new place, get his shit out of his apartment and find a new place, because they've decided to sell the apartment building where he's living and turn it basically into a parking lot. Hunter and Isabel are like, don't sweat it. You can just move in with us until you find a place, no big deal. And in the beginning, he's like, okay, cool, it's fine. Their dynamic has always been very easy, right? Until Hunter, one night they're at a club and something changes. There's like a demonstration for like shibari, the art of rope tying, and Hunter has to go talk with the club owner about something. And Drake and Isabel are left behind to watch this demonstration. The presenter who is putting on the demonstration asks for people from the audience. He needs a couple to come up here and demonstrate this rope tying. Okay. He chooses Isabel and Drake. Well, it would be better if you did it without your clothes. What? So she takes off her top and her bottoms, and she's left in her underwear and her bra. And he's tying her up on stage. And he's touching her. And whereas before it wouldn't have been a big deal, now something feels different. And she's thinking to herself, I like it, but where's my husband? If he sees this, he'll be very upset. And she's like, I like his hands on me, but I shouldn't. And I feel bad about it. Drake is thinking, I shouldn't be touching her, but I like touching her. But I'm being disloyal to my friend. Meanwhile, they look over and Hunter is watching them from the corner. But he doesn't look angry. He looks turned on. So they finish the demonstration. And then later, he comes out and he asks Drake to have sex with Isabel. And he wants to watch him touch her and do these things to her. And at first it's like a voyeur type situation. And Hunter has had a lot of self-reflection over the period of time that he's seen the way they interact with each other on the road. And he's come to the realization that he's since they started Salacious, he has not, everyone will ask him, what's your kink? What are you into, Hunter? What are you into? What's your kink? And he would always say, nothing. I don't have a kink. No, I'm not really into anything. He does have a secret that he hasn't told anyone, but it's not a kink. But what's your kink? I don't have one. He's come to the realization now that he does. And he thinks that his kink is being cuckolded. So now he wants to investigate this. And the only person he trusts to do it with is his best friend. Drake. What he doesn't realize is for Drake, it wouldn't be just sleeping with another woman. Because Hunter sees it as, well, Drake is a man whore anyway. He sleeps around a lot. It's not a big deal. It's just sex. But for Drake, it's not just sex. That's Isabel, his best friend, one of his best friends. And he knows it would completely change the dynamic of their friendship, their relationship. And he knows that he also has secretly had feelings for her since the time that they were teenagers. So at first he's like, don't ask me to do this. Like, you can't. And at this point, it was this point in the book where I became very angry at Hunter. I thought he was being very selfish. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I felt really like, I felt very connected to Drake. I felt very bad for Drake I felt like Hunter was backing him into a corner, and the empathy that I felt for him was very heavy. And Hunter was being very cavalier and very just, it seemed as if he was asking this of his best friend without any thought to the consequences or what it might mean to Drake. And there was a hot minute where I disliked Hunter as a character, I'll be honest. But eventually they worked it out, and Drake agreed to do it. They did. But he spent more time, or there were several moments of time, I'll say, during that first interaction where he spent time looking at Hunter instead of looking at Isabel. And it was at this point in the book where I started going, okay, now we're getting back on track with what I wanted to happen. And this is another thing. I also don't go out of my way to read male-male romance. I don't have anything against male-male romance. If there's a male-male romance in like part of a series that I'm reading, obviously I will read it. Once I become invested in a male-male couple in a series, they become just another couple to me. I don't see the genders. Does that make sense? I just become emotionally invested in them as characters, in them as a couple. But as a rule, I don't go out of my way to specifically seek out male-male books. So, for me to so vehemently want this to be the plot for this book was so out of character for me. I don't know what overtook my body. But I was literally like, if the end of this book does not end with the two of them together, I will rage. I will burn everything to the ground. So I'm just throwing that out there. Bloop. I was just throwing that little tidbit out there that yes, that also was a thing. That I don't normally do that either, and it was so out of character that I was. So at this point in the book, when this interaction was happening, and then there was another scene where they're both going at her together. Now Hunter is participating, and they accidentally graze each other or touch each other, but neither of them pulls away. I was like, oh yes, please. Yes, please. Give me more. Give me more. So that continues to progress throughout the book. And Isabel, as a character, Isabel as a character picks up on that. She realizes very early on that not only does Drake have feelings for her husband, but her husband has had feelings for Drake for a long time. And she has suspected for a long time that her husband is bisexual, even though he himself cannot admit it to himself. So they continue to tour the clubs. They reach one club in particular that has a dark room. And it's in this dark room where Hunter has like a come to Jesus moment, because Drake has gone to the club. They've already been to the club earlier in the day and they've checked it out. And now Drake has gone back to the club to basically find someone to hook up with. Hunter is there, realizes Drake is there. There's a room, like a dark room, where there is no light. It's a room that's free of inhibitions, where there are no genders. There's no shame in anything that you do. There's no shame in who you're with, right? Protection is mandatory before you go in. The bouncers wear night vision goggles. They stand in the room to make sure that everybody stays protected and that nothing foul goes on. Drake is in the room and he gets approached by some young kid who's hitting on him. And he's not really interested, but, you know, he's entertaining the kid. And out of the blue, this much bigger man tells the kid to piss off, basically, or shoves him out of the way and starts touching him. And he knows who it is just by the little bit that he spoke. But he wants to hear his voice again to confirm it. He does. And he realizes that it's Hunter. And in this room, Hunter has come to the realization that he can be free to do anything that he wants. And even though Drake will know that he's doing it, once they walk out of this room, it's not like the actions will disappear. He's free of inhibitions in that moment. And he essentially has that moment where he allows Drake free reign to touch him without Isabel between them. And afterwards, he just runs. He literally ditches him. Hunter literally ditches Drake. And Drake feels very used and very, very depressed. Very, very used. Hunter is having a crisis within himself. He's been raised to, from the moment that he could walk, he's been raised to find homosexuality abhorrent. His father was a hardcore homophobic, like outwardly, openly homophobic. And while he didn't inherit that meanness about him that his dad had, it's like ingrained in him that that's wrong. You shouldn't be that way. He doesn't judge others for it, but in himself, he sees it as, I could never be that way. I'll never be that. I'll never be gay. I can never be gay. But now, after what just happened, he's having a battle with himself, basically. So they're getting ready to head home. And Drake basically forces Hunter's hand and asks him what's going to happen when we get back home. This is only on the road, right? It's just sex. When we get back home, everything will be over and we'll go back to the way we were before. And Hunter doesn't want to answer, but he has no choice. And so he says, yeah, we'll just go back to the way that we were before. And so they get back home, and Drake starts trying to date people. Like, he's come to the realization he doesn't want to turn into his mother. He doesn't want to just sleep around. Hunter hates it. He has a big man tantrum, like a big baby man tantrum. And him and Drake have a big argument. And Drake tells him that, look, this isn't working. It can't just go back to the way it was before. All I want is you and Isabel. Because at first Hunter doesn't believe that he wants monogamy. He doesn't believe that he wants to settle down with anyone. He calls his bluff. You don't want to date. You love sleeping around. You love having variety. You don't want to settle down with anyone. You've never wanted to settle down with anyone. And Drake is like, I do want to settle down with someone. So I want to settle down with two people in particular, you and Isabel. And Hunter can't. He can't come out and openly admit to people that he's bisexual. And Drake is tired of feeling like a dirty little secret. And he won't do that anymore. And he knows that he can't sustain that long term. And he looks at Hunter and he tells him, I don't care what you do, but fix it. Just fix it. We're all miserable. And we're all miserable. Fix it. And he walks out of the club. And there are a few scenes where Drake and Isabel talk. And they have their heart-to-hearts. And they're still very close. And he realizes that he's in love with not just Hunter. He's in love with Isabel as well. He loves both of them. She's come to the realization that she's in love with both her husband and Drake. Hunter has come to the realization that he's in love with his wife and Drake. But Hunter can't come out and admit that he wants to be with a man because of all of the damage inflicted by his father. So he knows that deep down, the only thing wrong with this picture is him. So he goes to Isabel. She comes home and she finds him having bags packed. And she's like, what are you doing? And he says, I'm moving out. I'm going to go stay with Maggie. Maggie is the fourth owner of the club. I'm going to go stay with Maggie for a while because I've come to the realization that, just as Drake said, something here needs to be fixed. And I'm the only thing in this relationship that's broken. I'm the only broken piece. You're fine. Drake is fine. I'm the broken one. And I need to work on myself. And until I work on myself and fix myself, we're never going to be happy. And so he leaves. And he stays with Maggie for 2 months. In the meantime, he tells Drake to stay with Isabel. He's already living there, so he might as well just stay. And Drake and Isabel lean very heavily on each other. They're both equally miserable. When he sees them at the club, he doesn't speak to them. They don't exist. He occasionally calls Isabel to check in with her, make sure she's all right. But other than that, they don't speak to each other. He talks to Maggie a lot. He works through a lot of his problems because she's an unbiased, like, sounding board. And she's single. She's lonely. She has problems of her own. And she's always been a good person to give advice. So she helps him work through a lot of his issues. And one day, he goes into a meeting at Salacious with his friends. And he tells them, I have something I need to tell you guys. And they're like, okay, what's up? And he says, I'm bisexual. And I'm in a relationship with my wife and Drake. And none of them are surprised because they already knew. A lot of them thought that this had been already going on even before it began. A lot of them thought that he was bisexual even before he said he was bisexual. But none of them had a problem with it, obviously. And the responses that he gets back literally lift the weight of the world off his shoulders. And he realizes that he can go home and he can be with the people that he loves if they'll still have him. And he knows he has to go back and grovel. He goes to Isabel first at her yoga studio because she's a yoga teacher, yoga instructor. And he basically tells her, I came out to everyone. None of them were surprised. But now they know. And she forgives him, and she's so happy to have him back home. And, they have their hug moment, love moment, whatever. And then they go to the club where Drake is. They're in the middle of a shibari demonstration. And afterwards, Drake comes down from the stage or whatever, and Hunter walks up to him in front of everyone and just plants a big ass kiss right on his mouth. And at this moment, I literally could have just sank right into the book and died. I literally could have died. I was bursting with happiness. And Isabel's just there watching, just happy for her husband. And I'm just like, fuck, how did you do this? How did you do this to me? I'm getting like teared up just thinking about it. So, and literally, like they fucking live happily ever after. God, I can't. There's an epilogue for the book, where Drake has remodeled the master bedroom in their house to fit 2 king-size beds together to make it big enough for all 3 of them to sleep together, and turned his room into a nursery because Isabel is pregnant with twins. They're not sure yet who's the father. They plan on finding out. It's not going to be one of those situations where it's like, we don't care who the dad is because we're both going to be the dad. They plan on finding out. They want to know who the father is, but it won't, in the end, it won't matter because they'll be loved either way by both of them. But perfect. I can't. Anyways, for the rating for the book, 10. I very rarely, you know me, I very rarely, 10. I don't know how she did it, because I don't read books like this. How did she do it? I don't know. It was Drake for me that I attached myself to. I know that. As a character, I attach myself to Drake. But the dynamic that she set up between the 3 of them, and especially the dynamic between Hunter and Drake, and then the dynamic between Drake and Isabel. It was just so compelling. And his need to be loved and accepted, and God, I'm getting upset. Anyway, would I recommend this book to other people? Yes. Would I recommend this series to other people? Yes. This book literally knocked my crown right off of my head. I can no longer claim the title of Queen of Book 2 because this is Book 3. And unfortunately, Garrett, I'm sorry, but I liked this one better. I'm sorry. I did. So yeah, that's it, kiddos. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you'd like, you can follow me on social media. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. If you're interested in purchasing some of my bookish merch, I will also put the link for my Teespring shop in the description box below. And yeah, I think that's it. I really thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me for another video, and I will see you guys in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. Well, she done it, y'all. She done it. She's done converted me. She's converted me. I didn't think it was possible. I honestly didn't think it was possible. I didn't think my monogamous brain was convertible, but I guess it is. She did it. We're gonna get into it. Let's do our intro, shall we? Hi, babies. Let's just, shall we? Anyway, I'm back to dark red. I know you miss me. Hi. Let's jump into it because this book, I was so emotionally invested. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So, yeah. Okay, let's go. These, Candace. I had it in my mind the way that this book would go. Oh my God. I got verklempt. I got verklempt. I verklempt myself. This rabbit has made more fucking noise during this video than like I don't know what it is. Like you just decide, hey, today I'm just gonna all day. Anyway, my kid too. I'm gonna talk to myself and yell in the background in the other room right next door, and I'm gonna bang around and I'm gonna stomp like Frankenstein. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.